Yep.
Welcome back to Paradise on Earth. I am still Joseph. This is not Liam. He might look like it, but it's not Liam.
No, it's the same beard.
Same beard. Yep, exactly. We have fan favorite of the show, Brad Leonard, aka Brad Mamajama. He's back for more episodes.
Give the people what they want.
They've been begging. They've been leaving comments. When is this guy coming back? We need him. We need more Brad Mamajama.
I haven't read the comments. I don't need that negativity in my life.
Oh my goodness, they were nonstop. I've been getting calls from agents like, we gotta book this guy.
You saw one comment that I responded to, and I was like,
"Oh my goodness, yeah, we should talk about that. We should talk about that, dude." Some guy was attacking us online, and then I left a bit of a cheeky comment, and I was just kind of like, whatever. And then I saw Brad taking shots at the dude's baby mama, and I was like, dude.
I wasn't taking a shot at the baby mama. I was shooting my shot at the baby mama.
You were shooting your shot with the baby mama.
There's a difference.
Oh my goodness. I was like, this guy's gonna fucking drive out to Michigan just to fucking...
Yeah, but if I'm gonna go out, it might as well be that way.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Being assassinated, that's iconic.
That would be pretty iconic, yeah. I hope that guy is doing well. I blocked him, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. But
it's all good. I hope he's well too, and his baby mama, and you know what, and his child,
and his
or
child.
children. Like, I wish all of
they didn't
everybody
ask to be
well.
brought into this world,
right? Peace and blessings,
right? Speaking of things that weren't asked to be brought into this world, Brad, as you know, as the viewers know, Paradise on Earth, we're trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to fix the wrongs in the world. And Brad, there's a wrong that people love talking about. I don't know. I wouldn't consider it a wrong. Would you consider it a wrong?
I totally don't think it was a wrong.
I don't think it was a wrong either. I think it's underrated. No,
ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time. It really changed my point of view from a certain point of view. If that landed, Brad, this is a very special.
Landed. It's a book.
It's a Paradizo Boiz special. We're doing a 3-part episode about the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. Mm-hmm. Are you excited? I'm
absolutely I was about to say stoic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those are not, even the words I combine don't make sense to combine.
You're ecstatic. You're erotic, as they say.
Yes.
Erect.
Quite hard.
Yeah.
Fully torqued.
Right. Talking about the Star Wars prequels. I guess we'll get into it as the night progresses, but I guess what are your like kind of indicting thoughts? Is that a word? What are your beginning thoughts of the prequels?
Ooh, God, the missiles are falling. Russia finally fucking got us.
They found us.
It's fine.
In this cave.
It's fine. Comrades. Hell yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of war.
Right.
So the prequels of Star Wars, I'm of the generation that grew up on them, as you are, of course. And I don't know. It's a short answer. It's a soft spot for me. Like, it was my childhood, pretty much, among other things. Like, it wasn't the only thing I gave a shit about, but it was one of the better things in my opinion.
Yeah. No, like I definitely, like I'm the same way. Like I didn't have a problem with them growing up, and then once I sort of hit my teen years, everyone was like, "Oh, these movies suck and these are bad," and so I was like, "Yeah, fuck you, George Lucas." But now, in my old age, and post Rise of Skywalker, post sequel era, I have a real appreciation, if you will, for these movies, which really aren't bad.
No, they, like we kind of covered already, they were ahead of its time, which is a debatable take.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who say that, like, they still suck.
But at the end of the day, like, first of all, this is a space opera that's essentially for children, so, like, calm down.
Like,
and, like, this was George Lucas, all of everything that went into those movies was all him.
Yeah.
So there was essentially
no risk. That's what I like about these movies is that, like, it's just a guy, because like you always hear stories about how the original, it's like it was his wife and it was Irving Kershner and it was everybody else who kind of made it what it is. But this time around, George was just like, fuck it, I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
I'm writing, I'm directing, everything is like in his hand.
Yeah.
Essentially. And I got a lot of respect for the guy for like just he put his entire career on the line to like make these movies, and like it affected him negatively, but like at least he told the story he wanted to tell.
Absolutely, he got the most creative freedom you could possibly get without owning 20th Century Fox.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and then he made $1 billion off of it.
Yeah, like absolute like genius. Like fuck your Elon Musk, George Lucas.
Dude, they're buddies. You know?
I believe it.
Yeah,
they've both been to space.
Yeah. So you know, I guess so. We'll start from the beginning.
Oh hell yeah!
A Phantom Menace. What are your thoughts of the Phantom Menace?
Phantom Menace. So that's like one I really, really, really grew up on. We had that was one we had a VHS tape of.
Okay. So this was 99.
Yes.
How old were you in 99?
99, I would have been about 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been 8.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember seeing it in theaters. The only thing I really remember seeing is the pod racing scene.
Okay.
But like thinking back on it now, it's mostly about like politicians and trade warfare and stuff. So like there's not much a child's going to retain from that movie.
Right.
Besides like the aliens.
Right. See, so that's sort of this is my least favorite of all the prequels, which I think is a lot of kind of the consensus of a lot of people.
It's the majority, I think. Yeah. I'm in there.
And so the reason for me is because like all I remember that movie from when I was a kid was just being bored throughout that movie, except for the pod racing scene. But I'll get more into that later. And then the final battle, which I mean we'll get more into that later too, which I think. This might be a hot take. I think it's the best lightsaber battle in a Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like I don't want to say it's not a hot take. Yeah. But I would say that's a common thing. I would also agree with that. For a lot of people, I want to say it's at least like top 5.
Right. Because that was just a prime. And that's another thing is that when I was a kid, Star Wars was just lightsabers. That's all. And so this movie didn't have a lot of lightsabers.
Not really, no. It was really just that last scene outside of like
they tried to overcompensate by putting a guy with a double lightsaber.
But right, we're gonna make up for it.
Still not enough lightsabers in that movie, and that bugged me as a kid.
No, they should have had hella lightsabers.
Yeah.
But they did they do kind of make up in that. Wow, I can't talk. They do make up for that in episode 2 with that arena scene, but we're not talking about episode 2.
No. Episode 1.
Yes. But yeah, it had a lot of fun shit going on in it, even for a kid. Like even like Jar Jar Binks, which is he's basically like a clown.
Right.
Like that's what he's there for. But we enjoyed it as kids, whether we want to accept it or not.
Do you like go along with all the Jar Jar hate or no?
No, because again, he's just like a clown. It's like I get it, but I don't.
Also, he's civil in the later movies.
Right? Yeah, he's like a politician, and then he gives entire power to the emperor, and everything goes bad.
Boy,
but we're spoiling.
Right. Stay on topic.
Yeah, and then kind of jumping off a bit, but not really. I've actually met Jake Lloyd.
Did you? Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask you about Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
What your thought is on Jake Lloyd? Go.
He seemed nice. Yeah. I met him at a convention. I go to a convention every year in Kentucky. That's where one of my buddies live. And so me and my buddies, he moved away a few years ago, so we take a trip down there to like visit him, but also do fun nerd shit.
Right.
So we went to a convention. He was there. So a convention, usually an autograph is like $30-$40, maybe $50 if you're like A-list-ish or
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, yeah. Jake Lloyd, his autograph I believe was $20.
Nice.
And a selfie with him was $10.
Nice. Did you talk to him?
Honestly, not really. I was too like
enamored.
I was too like freaked out because I was like, oh my God, he's here.
How old was he?
He's like my age. He's like maybe 31 or 32 now. So at the time he was maybe like 26, 27.
Okay.
He had bleach blonde hair at the time, which was jarring. I was like,
I remember seeing pictures of him.
I was like, this isn't for a role because I don't think he's doing that anymore. But yeah, he was really nice. He actually kind of photobombed me. We took a picture and he like stuck his tongue out and shit, made a funny face. Really funny. And I didn't realize it at first, so I turned around and he was laughing and I look and go, oh, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then about a month later he got arrested.
Yeah, that's right.
Which like isn't funny. Like he's not well clearly, but it's like fucked up to like
Dude, that's
think
like
about.
sort of like that's like the thing about Jake Lloyd is like I haven't kept up on Jake Lloyd news, but like for a long time it was just like he's just miserable and he's just getting nonstop bullying.
Yeah, he got bullied as a kid, and then as an adult he would like get asked about being bullied as a kid, and he's like, I'm really sick of talking about this.
Right.
Poor guy. But yeah, I don't think he's done a convention since, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. I hope he's doing well.
Same, honestly. He seemed very nice. I did see like on Facebook or Instagram or something at the same convention he wrote on some girl's like picture autograph that she bought, like, "Are you an angel?" And I was like, oh my god, that's so corny, but I love it.
He's trying to get laid. Yeah.
Jake Laid.
Do you think he's a bad actor in this movie or no?
All kids are bad actors,
right.
Especially if they have to sing. So like, I don't know. I haven't been terrible. The last time I was like impressed with a child's acting, which like I guess is kind of recent. It was that movie Good Boys that Seth Rogen produced or wrote or whatever.
Right.
I rewatched it again recently. It's not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but it's pretty fucking funny.
Okay.
And like for all the kids to say and do the shit that they have to do in that movie is like, I think worth acknowledging, because acting comedy is not easy for people who aren't comedians.
Right.
So especially as a kid, it's like insane.
Yeah, like they don't know like timing, or they don't know like,
No, they say don't work with kids or dogs if you're going to be pretty much anything in, or not dogs, animals, like, because birds and monkeys and shit are probably even more difficult. But yeah, I don't think he was a bad actor, because if you watch like Jingle All the Way, which is another like, it's like at least like a Christmas favorite of mine, it's the acting is no worse or better. He's still a kid.
He's still just a kid.
He's a kid chipper, trying his best. I never understood that backlash. Like I can see it in scenes, I guess, but it's like, I don't know. It's campy.
It's like you believe
campy.
it. Yeah. I bought him as a young Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, it didn't take me out of the movie as a child or an adult. It's like, no, he's a child saying things. Like, you ever hear a kid speak? Most of them are pretty dumb.
Yeah, they don't know how to talk. They're not good at that yet. One could argue that we're not good at that either.
No, I'm terrible at speaking. I laugh at all my own jokes.
Something that like bugged me since I was a kid was the Anakin Padme relationship.
It's weird.
It's weird.
A bit weird. I would argue that's weirder than the Luke and Leia kiss, because all Luke and Leia did was kiss. These people said, I've been in love with you since I was a child.
Yeah. It is strange, especially because, do you know how much older Natalie Portman is than Hayden Christensen?
Honestly, no, but I'm sure it's...
Because they're probably close in age,
I was going to say, I'm sure it's much closer than Jake Lloyd and Natalie Portman.
That's the thing, is like, are we to believe that Anakin Skywalker grew up this much that he is like, I don't know, like a suitable kind of lover for Padme?
I mean...
Do you know the age discrepancy between Anakin and Padme?
I want to say it's somewhere between 9 and 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I think between 1 and 2, it's a 10-year gap, and I believe at the time he's 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I think she's 14 in the Phantom Menace.
Okay. Yeah.
If I remember the Weird Al song correctly. He does American Pie, but it's
like Star Wars?
Anakin Guy or something like that. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time, but that's the one I remember.
Okay,
worth a listen.
I'll add it to the playlist.
Yeah. So this movie, as well as the second one, gets a little bit of shit for racial stereotypes being incorporated into some of the characters' voices, like Watto and Newt Gunray.
Dude, Watto,
I'm not going to do either of them because I'm not ready to get canceled.
Not yet. He's not big enough yet.
No. It's not going to happen.
No.
I'm not going to do it.
You can play Watto.
Oh God, no. But just because he wears the hat in the second one, that's all I got.
No, he was. I remember he was a strange addition to the.
It was kind of off. As a
There's
kid,
a lot of
I was
strange
like,
side
there's
characters,
something
too.
off about this guy. Like, I know most of these people in the movies, these movies are like criminals at some point, but this guy feels extra dirty.
Yeah.
And once you grow up and realize what's wrong with it, it's like, oh.
And then Shmi, what's her name? Shmi
Skywalker?
She was his slave.
Oh, yeah, that's also problematic. Like, I mean, slavery is bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
But then again, R2-D2 and C-3PO were kind of slaves.
Yeah, but they're droids. They're built to suffer.
They're built to, yeah. C-3PO, he's built to suffer. All he does is suffer, that poor guy.
He's so depressed. He needs medication of some sort.
I had something I wanted to ask you, but I don't remember what it was now.
We'll get there. We're gonna get there.
I think it was about... Okay, so do you understand how Anakin was born? Can you explain that to me?
According to a comic book canon, Emperor Palpatine
Raped Shmi.
essentially with the Force just kind of like manifested like midichlorians into her body to create life. I don't know.
Was he present doing that, or was this like through the Force?
This was through the Force.
Okay.
I think he did this from like planets away and stuff. If I haven't read the comic, but I've seen that panel like a million times. Yeah, it's after all those sequels, like it's not the most far-fetched thing I've heard.
Right.
But it's also like kind of boring.
Also, we should add Palpatine was a clone this whole time? Or was he a clone after Return?
I believe he's supposed to be a clone after Return, but I don't understand that because he's still like decrepit and stuff. So I'm like, how is this a clone then? I didn't question those movies. I just kind of let them be because behind the scenes they were such a mess. So by the time they got that last one out, it was like, well, this is the best they could do.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. I don't hate movies really. Like it takes a lot for me to be like that was a waste of my time.
Right.
I just would rather put that energy towards something like real, like Traffic.
I see. I'm sort of the same way. But like I don't hate movies. What I hate is movies that are products, and those movies were products.
Oh yeah, by that the prequels specifically, we definitely were.
Yeah,
those were 100% like.
But the sequels, especially, I think the sequels are
by
just.
The time Disney got a hold of them, of course.
Those weren't movies, in my opinion.
Those
are just
fine.
Yeah, but anyways, back to episode 1. What do you think of Darth Maul?
I think he was underutilized. I think he was like, I mean, the TV shows made up for it, I guess. But he's debatably like the most badass Sith that ever was on screen, at least.
Yeah.
I guess Darth Vader. The more and more stuff they make with Darth Vader in it, he's equally more and more badass, like with Rogue One and Obi-Wan and stuff. But Maul, like, at least physically looks badass with the red tattoos and shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's threatening.
In recent years, when like looking at pictures of Darth Maul, his horns do look a little fake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you get real close.
You can kind of see where they're stuck on. But as a child, he was terrifying.
Oh, he's absolutely scary shitty. Like, absolutely terrifying as a kid. Especially when you see his teeth. It's like, my God, what have you eaten?
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. Like he underutilized. I think. Like I don't know. Sometimes they take characters like that and like intentionally don't put them on screen as much. Like they do that a lot in horror movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we could have gotten a lot more out of him, especially with Ray Park's talent, because he's like a
physical guy.
Yeah, he did all of that shit.
Right. And see, that's the thing. Like, so he shows up halfway through the movie, does a couple flips, and he hits a lightsaber, and then shows up at the end and has like an incredible battle. But like, I just wanted more. I wanted more of that.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. I think we were robbed of that.
Yeah.
Especially once he was cut in half. It's like, well, we're never going to see this guy again.
Right.
Boy, were we wrong.
It's not like they can put some robot legs on him, a robot spider leg on him.
No. Like,
no, they'd never do that.
Obi-Wan can't kill him twice.
No. He couldn't do that.
And then he did.
Yeah.
Wild. What else about these here Phantom Menaces?
So, I guess I'll sort of like another kind of reason why I was kind of sour on the Phantom Menace was because growing up, I would play the Lego Star Wars video game, and a fucking pod racing level. I could never beat that pod racing level.
That one, the like mechanics or whatever, is like you go too fast.
Yeah.
I know. I've played that game as fuck. Like I know exactly what you're talking about.
I could never beat that level as a kid.
Then they expect you to get all the mini kits too.
Yeah.
It's like how I can't. I don't. If I recall correctly, you couldn't go in reverse.
Right. I hated that level with a passion. I don't know if I ever got past it, and that's sort of where, because like I was really young when the prequels came out, and so I wasn't allowed to see them in the theaters, and I wasn't old. Like I would have been 1 when episode 1 came out.
Okay.
So I wasn't old enough to see them in the theaters, and then they were still kind of like, my parents were kind of like, like we don't want you watching these movies yet. So the Lego Star Wars game was all I had for Star Wars for a while, and I was just like, I was in love with it, but also I was so frustrated with the episode 1 levels especially.
Yeah. Oh my god. You unlocked a whole bunch of memories just now after bringing that up. I'm like, oh my god, I want to play it now. I put a lot of hours into that.
It's a great fucking game.
Oh, I'm really into Legos too.
Yeah.
Like I'm in like Facebook groups and stuff, and like between both communities, like Lego and Star Wars, like that game is just everybody's favorite, and even in like video game culture, which like I'm kind of a gamer, but I'm not like hardcore. I play like vintage shit more so.
The Yoda screaming from that game has kind of become a meme.
It has.
Yeah.
It 100% has. Yeah. And oh my god, I've seen so many memes. I can't even think of one right now. Twitter is just flooded with stills and like the one I see a lot is like the stormtroopers in the hot tub with the bikini, with the helmet on. That one I love. I'm like, I cannot remember for the life of me what the context of this is, but that's
you don't need context.
That's the fun of the internet.
To watch. Yeah, just stormtroopers in a little Speedo in a hot tub.
Exactly, it's a great time for children. I remember. So before Disney bought Lucasfilm, they were releasing all of the movies in 3D in theaters.
Yeah, right.
And they only ever released episode 1, and I went to it. Me and a couple buddies, so it was cool to see it in 3D. I guess the movie was no different. They may have added like in some versions there's like a longer pod racing scene.
Yes.
So that may have been there at the time, which was cool. But I recall 2 people that were sitting in front of us. It was like a couple. They got up and walked out.
Damn. Sorry, George.
They were like, "Wait, I've seen this movie."
They're like, what are we doing here? I don't care about Star Wars.
I mean, it wasn't my idea to go to this. I was just kind of like, I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a movie that hasn't been out in however many 10 years or whatever.
And at the time, the plan was to release them like all in 3D. Like, I don't remember how frequently, like once a year or something, but they were gonna make it like a thing. And then like a year, maybe even less than a year later, Lucasfilm was like, or Disney was like, mine.
How do you feel about like none of the original movies being released like in their original format?
That's tough. It's tough because we were just talking about like, the prequels are great. We let George Lucas have his creative freedom, and then we let him have his creative freedom going back and tweaking those movies. Right. And it's like kind of split the crowd, split the room. I know like the common sort of opinion is that it's just too much. Certain things are too much. Like in Return of the Jedi, there's like a musical number in Jabba's palace.
That was annoying.
I found 100% unnecessary.
Right.
And I love musicals, but I'm like, I don't even know what she's saying.
Yeah. Like, why are you making a musical in an alien language?
Exactly. Like, it's fun that you can do this. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, this is
have it in the background.
Right, or make it like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
I would like to see them in their original format because I would be interested to see like what kind of how it would hold up today.
There are unethical ways of obtaining them that I'm aware of.
On the interwebs?
Yes.
Okay.
That's really the only thing I know of because I know I'm not optimistic that it's ever going to be like a physical release for mass people to produce or consume, because at the end of the day it's not a very large amount of people who'd want to see that.
Right.
But I've seen like I don't think I've watched them all, but I've at least watched like A New Hope, and it's jarring, honestly.
Did it have the Jabba scene?
It had Jabba as a. Did it have a Jabba as a dude? I want to say it did. Actually, it may not even have had that scene. I feel like that was added in later. Yeah, this was like 2012.
Okay.
And I think I just started smoking marijuana in that year, so it's blurry. But yeah, those would. I would definitely love to have those like in a collection. Yeah, those would be very cool to see. Especially with all the stuff that he added on later. But then there's like good ones he made. Like he added he would add in like other like all the X-Wing stuff was redone to look not as shitty, and there was like a bunch of like landscape scenes that had stuff added to it that's like, you know, fun, or like it looks better.
Right.
Hayden Christensen at the end of Jedi.
That's questionable because it doesn't make any sense. Because
I don't like it.
Yeah. But then it's like, what would he? That's the thing, is like, what would Anakin Skywalker look like after he died? Because you don't want to have the fucked up face Anakin Skywalker.
That's
But he had some guy.
It was some guy.
Yeah.
But. At the end of the day, that was at least the guy in the suit at the end of the movie before he died.
Was it David Prowse?
In the originals, yeah.
Was the David Prowse the guy standing in the Force Ghost, or is that someone else?
In the original like cuts, it was originally David Prowse.
No shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Hayden Christensen was a later ad. They swapped him out rather.
I thought it was just some guy. I didn't know it was David Prowse.
Is it David Prowse?
I don't know.
I don't either. I'm not familiar with other people who have played Anakin Skywalker, really. Okay. The guy who played him in the suit in the end of Return of the Jedi.
Like the fucked up face? Like the guy with the fucked up face?
Yeah, he's like pale, looks like Uncle Fester. Yeah, that guy, he is in the end of the original Return of the Jedi. Okay. In Jedi robes, smiling. Looks like everyone's grandpa, but it's still like, I don't know. I preferred that version because it made more sense to me.
Right.
Because he died then. Like,
that's the thing, is
at
like,
that point he was like redeemed or whatever.
Well, then also it's like, why is Obi-Wan Kenobi Alec Guinness?
It just adds more confusion because like the like justification for Hayden Christensen is like, oh, it was back when he was like a good Jedi, and I'm like, no, that's lazy. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like it's another one of those things where it's like, you did it because you could do it, like good for you. Yeah, but I prefer just like, no. Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park. The version when he died is the way his Force Ghost is supposed to be, right? Because that's how it was for Alec Guinness, for Qui-Gon Jinn recently in Obi-Wan. All those guys. Right. Yoda. Because when we see Yoda in The Last Jedi, he's the puppet. He's not the CGI Yoda. And I appreciated that.
The replacing of the Yoda within this movie.
I wasn't offended by it, but it's another thing where it's like, you could have left it. I would have been fine with it. But at the same time, if it's kind of weird to have him just CG in 2 and 3. Yeah. Especially with the sequels coming out later where he's a puppet again. So, end of the day, if you're a guy who likes even numbers and stuff, you know, everything in its place, it kind of makes sense. Like 3, and then one scene for one movie.
I didn't like how Yoda looked in this movie. That kind of bothered me.
He did look weird.
He does look kind of weird.
Like I don't know if they were going for younger or something, but he looked like a little more cracked out. Right. Yeah, his eyes are like bigger or wider or something.
Was Yaddle in this movie?
I believe so. They're sitting next to him in the Jedi Council when they were grilling Anakin.
Do we have any background on Yaddle?
I'm sure there is. I'm personally unaware of it, but I have no doubt there's some kind of canon. George Lucas himself has made so much random continuity for all the smallest characters, and then with Dave Filoni and all those other guys adding more to it, especially with the characters they made, it's like everybody's got a story. George Lucas's son is in the movie, and I'm sure he's even got a story. Yeah.
Okay, so what else can we talk about from episode 1? I don't know. Do you have any? How long will we be going? 30 minutes.
Episode 1.
Hey, what did you think of Liam Neeson? How about that?
That was, you know what? That was my introduction to Liam Neeson.
Yeah, same with me.
I mean, I was a kid, so I wasn't going to watch Schindler's List. So, yeah, I was like, every time I see him, I'm like, oh, it's Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
I kind of have the same thing with Ewan McGregor, but Ewan McGregor's been in so many of my favorite movies, so I can see him more as like a different person besides just Obi-Wan.
Natalie Portman, like, I don't even think about her being in those movies.
Because in the first one she's like in disguise most of the time, and then half the time she's like not even her. It's like Keira Knightley. She's just like in the background off screen. It's very weird, especially with how like similar they actually looked back then. It's like scary. It's like they look like twins or clones, and then they grew up, and it's like
that's foreshadowing.
That's you might be onto something.
Ooh, don't let them attack.
It would be slippery slope. Oh my gosh, that was my first Natalie Portman movie, I think, too.
Yeah,
she's a wonderful young lady actress.
You didn't see Léon the Professionnel?
Not at that point in my life.
Yeah,
no. Actually,
probably not. I'd be surprised if you did.
I haven't seen it now, honestly, but I know it's like I've seen like clips of it and stuff.
Right.
It comes up in a lot of like top 10 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to watch a lot of those. Phantom Menace comes up in a lot of those too, but for different reasons.
Ooh boy, talking that shit.
It's not me, it's them.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Greedo scene?
Greedo scene. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the scene where him and Anakin are fighting?
Yeah, it's like a deleted scene, right?
Yeah. I think that's absolutely hilarious.
And they're like, oh, Greedo, one day someone's gonna shoot you first, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I actually showed a friend of mine that scene recently because he didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you have to see this because it's like foreshadowing.
Right.
But it's also like, look at this little
very pointless.
Look at this little alien trying to fight little Anakin Jake Lloyd.
You know what's weird about Greedo is like they're always making Greedo toys and he's always like popping up and stuff, but it's just like he's such a minor character. He dies in the one scene that he's in episode 4, and so it's just weird to me how much kind of love Greedo gets for being a character who's only in one scene.
Yeah, you make a good point. He's not really like a prominent character, is he? He's just like the guy that Han Solo murdered first. He's like the first kill we see on screen.
Yeah. But it's just like everybody knows Greedo.
Yeah, that's true. I had never actually realized that until just now. That's kind of like the same kind of argument is made for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Where it's like he didn't really do much, but he got all this hype.
He just stood there and
then in the Return of the Jedi, he kind of went down in kind of a lame way.
Yeah.
But he can't. He lived. He survived.
He lived. Apparently,
he's back. And more Boba than ever.
He's more Boba than Django, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
That's foreshadowing. Yeah, I guess, do you have any final thoughts on Phantom Menace?
Phantom Menace, final thoughts. I love Boss Nass. Boss Nass is probably my favorite character. His little
gargling.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love him so much, and the way he talks, which is, Jar Jar talks the same way, but for some reason, Boss Nass has this like, he's got seasoning on it, you know,
with his testicle face. Yeah.
Yes, with his testicle face. Love that guy.
I need to drink some water.
Hell yeah. Final thoughts. Oh my gosh. Duel of the Fates is the best Star Wars song.
Yes. I agree with that.
No other ones have a name that iconic, really. Besides, like, Leia's theme.
Something
like that. Or
the Imperial March, man.
Oh, you're right. You're actually really... Ooh,
I think Duel of the Fates is a better song, but Imperial March is more kind of famous.
I think I'm about to prove both of this wrong right now. The Cantina song.
Oh, we don't want to get copyright strike.
No, we don't want that. Disney is going to come right for us.
You know what? This is a Star Wars trivia. Do you know the genre of music that the Cantina Band plays?
Genre?
Yes.
Oh, man. I don't suppose it's called Cantina, is it?
It is not called Cantina, no. That is... Do you actually not know?
I actually don't know, no.
It is called Jizz. And the performers of Jizz are called Jizz Wailers. Had you never heard that before?
Honest to God, no.
No way.
If I have, I forgot it, which is like a common thing, if
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. But no, I've never heard of that being referred to as jizz.
It's called jizz.
Holy shit.
Which, I mean, I guess it's jazz with a I instead of an A, but
I gathered that.
yeah. Yes.
That's truly incredible, actually.
Nothing
like, how do you...
better than just sitting back and listening to some good old fashioned jizz.
No, I just got some, I got some jizz flowing through my ears.
I love going to the canteen and listen to the wailing of the jizz.
Jizz whalers. There's a sperm whale joke in there somewhere,
There
but is
probably
that
is.
I don't know if that's canon to Star Wars. I know whales are. I don't know if sperm whales are.
Yeah. Do you know, okay, here's another one. Do you know the name of the band?
Oh, fudge. I feel like I used to at one point. I don't think I can tell you now.
Oh.
Mos Eisley something.
No.
Yeah, I thought not. What do you got?
It's Fingering Dan and the Modal Notes, I think.
I love that. There's a Star Wars character named Dan.
Yeah, honestly, his name is Fingering Dan.
Sounds like fingering Dan. I don't want to finger Dan.
Yeah. And then
Finger
so he
looking
can
good.
jizz all over you.
Oh God. it's gone so south. We've entered porn parody.
Oh man. I talked to George, all right? He fucking did this.
George, you
come on, George.
No, thank you, George. We love you.
Yeah. All right. Well, my final thoughts on Phantom Menace is it's not great, but it's a good entry into like kind of the pre-Clone Wars world.
It's a pilot episode.
It is, yeah.
That's kind of the way to. Not every pilot is great. Keep
It's
watching.
not strong,
it gets better.
but like you wanna see where it goes. You're like, okay, this guy is gonna be Darth Vader. Let's see what happens.
Precisely. It's like, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm invested. Let me see where these characters go. What is this Jar Jar character? I doubt he's going to become a politician. I'd like to see what happens.
I can't imagine that.
You said he's a general what?
All right. Well, I guess that's all our thoughts on Phantom Menace. Come back next week for our Attack of the Clones.
Oh, we're going to attack them clones.
We are going to attack those clones.
We're coming for you, clones.
Ooh.
Watch your fucking back.
All right. Big peace.